Right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment, which is going to be talking about some general news stories around the league. This is one I like to do, just talk about, some general transaction-related and injury stuff around the league, just some news stories that maybe aren't for a full segment, but are still notable and still stuff that I did want to touch upon around the league. So, yeah, we'll be going to that. So the first one we have is Jordan Beck. He has been called up by the Colorado Rockies, and they will be placing Nolan Jones on the IL. So a bit of good news and bad news for the Rockies. Beck, one of their more notable prospects, a guy who was a third-round pick out of the draft for them a few years ago, a really great prospect for them, has been tearing up AAA, and it was just sooner or later before he would be called up by the Rockies and end up playing a significant role here. So, it is unfortunate that Nolan Jones' injury was the reason that he was called up, and that the reason he is going to end up playing significant time for this team. But still, I'm really excited to watch Beck. I think he could be a big part of this Rockies future. And I think with this Rockies team that is kind of looking for an identity, looking for something to kind of show that we have a core, we have some players who can be significant pieces for us, I think that Beck is going to be a big part of that, and I'm really excited to watch him. Also, Nolan Jones going the IL, it is something you don't want to see. Jones has been one of the biggest positives for this Rockies team over the past few years now. Has been a really solid player for them these past 2 years after coming over from Cleveland. So, something I'm watching to see how Beck performs, but hopefully Nolan Jones can come back sooner rather than later for this team. Next one we have is Avisail Garcia. He was placed on the injured list with a strain for the Marlins. Garcia has just had a really rough time of it since coming over to South Beach. With him, he's just had so many injuries, and the thing is also, when he has been on the field, he's been really bad. A lot of Marlins fans are considering him one of the worst contracts in franchise history. It is kind of shorter, 4 years, $48 million, not that much, but I think for a smaller market Marlins team who doesn't spend that much money on free agents, it is more significant than a team maybe like the Mets or a team like the Yankees, the Dodgers, who would have signed him, because you do play in Miami, you're the Marlins, you're not that big market of a team. So, I'm watching Garcia to see how he does perform in these last 2 years of this contract, but so far it has not been good, and it's just more injuries for him, more underperforming. So, definitely not great for this Marlins team, and not great for Garcia. I think he really wants to be good for this team, and just has not been good so far. So, yeah. The Cubs put Jordan Wicks on the injured list with a forearm strain, which is not good at all. As we've talked about, there's been so many pitcher injuries this season, and having another one now is not what you want to see. For Wicks, he has been a really great starter for this Cubs team, has been a first-round pick. He was a first-round pick a few years ago, has been a really impact starter for this team. They lost a few guys this offseason, most notably Marcus Stroman. So having Wicks put on the IL with this forearm strain is not good, just because it is an injury, of course, but also a forearm strain. If you're a pitcher, you don't want to see anything related to your arm whatsoever, especially this year with all the injuries that have gone around baseball. I think that Cubs fans are really holding out hope that their young stud is not one of these guys that also has a big arm injury, has something like a Tommy John, which is obviously worst case scenario. I'm just kind of thinking about the worst case scenario here. I mean, it only is 15 games. We only know of it being a strain so far, but strains can become worse, and I think anything with an arm for a pitcher right now is notable and can become worse. So I'll be watching that, and I'll be seeing if there is any updates with his injury. But Wicks has been a big fixture of the Cubs rotation this year, figures to be one for a little while for this Cubs team, and you're really hoping it isn't something significant that takes him out for this year and maybe even future. So we'll be watching that, but could just be overreacting. But again, anything with the arm for a pitcher is not something you want to see, and is definitely not a positive. The White Sox DFA'd David Garcia a few days ago. Garcia was, of course, a former top prospect with the Yankees, kind of fizzled out, went with the White Sox, tried to revive his career as a reliever, but was not working, and they did DFA him. So unfortunate for him, as it kind of seems he won't be a significant player in the MLB for the future. So we'll be watching that, and we'll be seeing. So we'll be seeing what happens with him and seeing if any team does take a chance on him. We have Luis Robert as well. We have an update on his rehab. He is going to possibly be back by middle May, according to some higher-ups within the White Sox organization. They think his rehab is going really, really positively, and I think that Robert being back by middle May is going to be a big positive for this White Sox team. They've had a lot going for them recently. Of course, I just talked about they swept the Rays, so I think getting your best player back this early after thinking he might be out for a little bit longer is a really, really great thing. And I'm gonna watch the White Sox and Robert closely here in the upcoming weeks, and seeing what does happen with him, seeing if he does come back, and seeing how much this injury does affect him. So I'll be watching that, and I'll see what's gonna happen with Robert. So yeah, I'll be watching that and seeing if this does affect him, and him being their best player, how much does him coming back to the White Sox also help this team that has kind of been on fire recently. So the Red Sox have DFA'd Joely Rodriguez and called up Naoyuki Uwasawa. Uwasawa was, of course, acquired in a preseason trade with the Rays in spring training. Is going to be playing more of a long relief role for the Red Sox. Came over from Japan. Was not a big signing, but signed a minor league contract with the Rays and did not make the roster, but he still wanted an MLB opportunity, and he is getting that now with the Red Sox, who he got traded to after he didn't make the Rays roster, and the Rays kind of tried to find a better fit for him after he didn't make it. So I'm really interested to watch Uwasawa. I think he's going to be a big part of the Red Sox rotation. I think he doesn't have the best stuff, but I think he just knows how to pitch, and I think that if you can get some of his stuff to a better result, which might be hard, but I think that's what you have development people for. So I'll be watching him. I think he can be a quality reliever for this team, and we'll be watching him in the future. So yeah. The Red Sox traded for Garrett Cooper. They just had a big first base injury with their starting first baseman Tristan Casas being out for a little bit now with an injury for a few months. I think Cooper can come in and be a quality piece. Is a guy that hits lefties really well, got off to a solid start with the Cubs. He's just a quality MLB veteran that can come in with an injury and fill in really well. So yeah, I'm watching Cooper here to see what the Red Sox. I think it was a quality move by them, and definitely watching Cooper with the Red Sox now. Again, I think it was a good trade by them, a good guy to get in with the team and fill in one of your spots that is going to be out for a little bit with injuries. The Red Sox have been hit by the injury bug a lot, and pretty significantly over these past few weeks. So I think Cooper can be a guy that kind of come in, weather that storm, just play some good baseball for the Red Sox, and I'll be watching that. Justin Steele is having a rehab start Wednesday, which is big news for the Cubs. Of course, Steele is their ace, one of the Cy Young runner-ups from last year for the Cubs. I think getting him back would be a really, really great start, really, really great sign for the Cubs. Did have that freak injury at the first start of the year against the Rangers, so I'll be watching him and his rehab and how it does go. But I think getting your ace back is a great sign, and especially with the Cubs now getting Jordan Wicks on the injured list with the forearm strain, you need all the pitching help you can get. So I'll be watching Justin Steele here with his rehab, and seeing if he does come back, and seeing when he does come back, and how much his injury might have affected him. Next, we have Kyle Bradish, who is apparently going to be back soon for the Orioles. Obviously, has not made a start this year after his breakout season last year because of preseason injury. So yeah, I think this is going to be a huge impact for the Orioles. Their rotation has been pretty great this season already, with guys like Grayson Rodriguez and, of course, Corbin Burns, who you acquired in the blockbuster trade, having been really, really positive and really, really great pitchers. So yeah, I'm going to be seeing when his rehab starts come, and when he does end up making a return to this Orioles rotation. It should be this week, apparently, so that's really exciting for Orioles fans. They're having an amazing season, of course, already, and getting your second-best pitcher back, I think, is another great sign, and definitely watching that, and definitely seeing what does go on here. So with that, last thing I wanted to talk about was Angels selecting Zach Christofak from AAA. He will be putting in some depth for the Angels pitching, and will probably be playing a long relief role, maybe even starting one game or two. But he has a really, really interesting and kind of sad story, but he finally made it to the MLB. So I'm really happy for him. And Sam Blum of The Athletic, who covers the Angels, a guy who does a really great job over there, had a great story on just his life and what he's gone through to get to the MLB. So if you are a baseball fan, I do recommend checking that out. So I wish Zach all the best luck, and really, really sad story, but congratulations to him for finally making the MLB and proving that all his hard work was worth it. So yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you don't only get notified when I upload, but when everyone else on this channel does, all the great content creators. So yeah, we also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again. Have a great day. and we'll see what baseball throws us tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to